Hello, my name is Ashley. This is Faithful Rattos, and welcome back. So today we have a vlog. We have a rat show vlog, and then something exciting is going to be happening this evening. Fingers crossed. I do want to show you. There's currently a squirrel eating food on my balcony, so just 1 second. And she's a mummy. I saw all of her. Look at her nipples. She's got babies somewhere, so I'm going to leave her be. So, yeah, very excited. Show you who's coming along today. So, we have Porter and Bridges, my two books from my first Gen Keepers. I have Dandelion and Lyra, the two girls from my first Gen Keepers that I'm planning to pair. And I've got my two Martins. I've got Meffy, who's going in Varieties, and Parley, my three-legged rat, who's going into Pets. And yeah, we're going to go off to the show today, and hopefully I'll get to chat to you at some point. We just had an incident, didn't we? Yeah? These tanks were open in the taxi. Somehow the lids, popped off on both of them. That was naughty, wasn't it, Bridges? Naughty. Naughty, naughty. So, welcome to the voiceover part of this vlog. This is just a clip of us. I think we were maybe on a train. We might not have been. Definitely on a train in this clip. Just heading to the show. It was in, I think the place, it was in Arley Kings, but this place I'm driving through here in the taxi was, I think, called Starbridge, but there was canals or river or something that I just wanted to take a video of, so that was very cute. Then I got to the hall, started sorting out all my rats. These are all my rats tanked. I did forget to put, I think it was Dandelion sticker on there, but she eventually got it. Lyra having a drink. Having a little drink in her tank. She was in a higher tank, which is why the bottle is on top and not inside. I met this lovely girl, I think. Yeah, I think it was a girl. She was very sweet until she pooed on me. She did poo on me, which was unfortunate. Now, this next clip is a clip of Parley trying to scratch herself, but not being able to. I found it very sad, but also very cute. Here are some rats. I think this was the pet table. I did get interrupted when I was filming this clip because somebody wanted to ask me a question, so I didn't get the whole table, but I did get quite a lot of them. Now, I just really enjoyed this potato. I thought it was very cute, and then I think this is also Parley. Very cute. This is Bridges having a chicken leg clean. I got some really cute videos of my own rats at this show because I wasn't behind the judges' table, so that was really nice. That was just Bridges coming to say hello. Yes, hello, hello. I wanted to show you these little leaflets that the club made. I think they were made by Leslie McNess, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I thought they were really great. They had them dotted around. And then these were, I was just showing you some of the rosettes I sponsored. So of It's a Magical Place, he was my boy Coulson. And then God of Time was my boy Akatosh. And these are all of the rosettes that the MRC has. These are some of the shoulder rats that I saw on the table. I tried so hard to get it to be in focus, and it took me so long to get them to be in focus that the little guy just turned around. But yeah, they were cute, cuddling in a pile. No idea if you can actually hear me, but I just thought I'd do a little check-in of myself. The show, very busy today. We had a very, very long AGM. There was a lot of proposals and a lot of discussion. So that happened. I think the show is going to run late today because of that. But yeah, I can see over on the varieties table that Bridges has got second shaded, which is really cool. My does have not yet been judged in Pets. They're going to be up next pretty soon. And then I've got a couple in Dumbo, so I'll wait to see how they do. But yeah, it's been a good day so far. Got a lot of cool stuff, and I will talk to you later. And back to voiceover. This was me trying to get footage of this adorable rat that I was left with while somebody went to the toilet, but he just didn't want to be on camera. Now this is the clip, the exciting clip, when I got Porter back and saw the stickers on his tank. Eep! Hi guys. So, I am at Smethwick Gorton Bridge station on my way home, and it's nice to be leaving a show and it's like properly light outside still. It will probably be dark by the time I get home, but the fact that it's still light right now is really good. So today went really well. Porter game reserve betting show, which is just insane. I'll talk more about it when I get home because, you know, there's other things to talk about and there's other exciting things to talk about when I get home. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little update from me at the station. Yeah, I'm hungry and I'm tired and I'm sure the rats want to go home as much as I do. And yeah, it's just been a really good day. So we have the pairs. So we've got Dandelion and Burdock, and we've got Goro and Lyra. So I'm currently in bed watching these guys. So in that cage there is Dandelion and Beatty, and then in this one here is Lyra and Goro. I have seen successful pairing with both of them. Dandelion is a little bit more vocal than Lyra and a little bit more standoffish, but when she gets going, she is quite happy with the situation. Now, Lyra is not as feisty, but is a little bit squeakier. I've seen more matings on this pair over here, Dandelion and Beatty, so we will see what happens, but I have definitely seen pairing situations on both sides, so we should be okay. I'm now in bed, as you can probably expect. I'm very tired after tonight, but I will, when I wake up in the morning, I will separate these out and I'll like have a chat with you about how the show went. I'm also taking in some rattos for a bit of rat sitting, so I'll also probably show you them tomorrow and that'll be the end of the vlog. But yeah, hopefully we have babies very soon. Dandelion, why have you buried him? Hello, so this is the next day. I'm going to do an update about the show, blah blah blah, like a sit down update. I just wanted to show you the little visitors that we have. So one of my MRC friends is going on holiday and needed me to look after her rats, so she has currently a pair of big boys who are in this cage, but most excitingly for me at least, because I haven't really had a chance to really interact with dwarfs, group of dwarf does who are all curled up together there, which is very, very cute. They are currently obviously in temporary cages, and these girls are all also in intros, which explains the size of the cage, but it's just really cute and I'm very excited to have them. Hello, so this is probably going to be the last clip in this vlog. I just wanted to bring you up to date on what happened at the show yesterday, AGM wise and prizes wise. I wanted to update you on the pairings that I did last night as well, which is very exciting. So let's start off with the show. So I was really excited for this show because it is the MRC AGM show, and AGM stands for Annual General Meeting, if anyone doesn't know, and this is usually how clubs and societies of any sort will decide what their rules and regulations are, and going forward how they bring in new committee members and how they pass through new rules and things, which is very important. And this year at the AGM there was a lot of updates to basically welfare standards, specifically about shows and also breeders. So some of these changes from shows came via the NFRS, which is the national club, the MRC being a local regional club for the Midlands in the UK. And some of these changes to show welfare conditions were brought about by the NFRS last year, and we were just coming up to date with that as we are an affiliated club. And some of those were new rules, as the MRC breeders list is, if I'm not mistaken, the only breeders list where breeders are held to specific standards and a code of conduct and specific ethics situation. So the other lists, like the NFRS list and such, they are not vetted. whereas the MRC is. And the MRC decided to bring in some new regulations, mainly to do with how a maternity cage setup is set up and the size requirements for that, which is really important. Now, none of these rules were blanket statements. Obviously, there are some situations where an even smaller birthing style cage is necessary and is what is necessary to mitigate harm. However, it shouldn't be the norm, and that is really what the committee wanted to bring about. And I was happy to speak on that behalf, on behalf of that new rule coming in, and to vote on it. Thankfully, it passed. Now, this has been a little bit controversial in the space, but I firmly believe that if we want to say that we are ethical breeders, that we should be striving to have standards that are better. And so that's what happened. And I think it is very applaudable that that is what MRC is doing. Now, onto the exciting bit, at least for me, I guess. So we had some wins. I shall get them. So Bridges got a Best Wheaton, and he came second in the Shaded Challenge overall. So he got this lovely Wheaton Burmese rosette, and he was the only one, but he did get second in the Shaded Challenge. Dandelion got the Rex Dumbo rosette. I think there might have been one other rat in her category. She didn't make it into the Dumbo Challenge, but I wasn't really expecting her to. And now, the big win of the day was Porter, which was really exciting. He got Shaded Dumbo, Best Dumbo, and Reserve Best in Show. So this is second out of all of the rats that were at the show, which is a really, really big deal. And he is the first rat that I've had to place in the final Supreme Challenge of rats that I've bred. So Sophie did get Reserve Best in Show back in last year. I think it was like June, July time. She got it just before I paired up the does. And obviously Sophie is his auntie. So that was really exciting when she got it. But I didn't breed her, so I didn't feel like I could take in the entire credit for that win. But with Porter, I chose the pairing. I bred his mom. I looked after her, and I looked after the babies, and obviously looked after him into his life as well. So this is a big deal for me. I hope that it's not the last. I'm hopeful for many more Supreme placings in the future. But yeah, I'm really, really excited about this, and I'm really, really excited about him as a rat. He's just wonderful. Now, I do have to say that Bridges decided he was going to chomp on the judge towards the end of the show, which was a downer and a little bit embarrassing. However, I'm all for transparency on my social media, so I just wanted to share with you that did happen, unfortunately. I do think it was a case of overhandling towards the end of the show. He was up on the bench in consideration for Supreme Challenge, which did involve, taking him out of the tank, putting him back in, taking him out. And then he was also up for consideration for the Studbook Challenge, which was another, again, more in and out of the cages, which was just a little bit too much for him, I think. And the judge did have a plaster on her finger. And I think that the whole combination of it being a long day, him being handled in and out of the tank quite a lot, plus the judge having a plaster on her finger, I think it was just a perfect storm for that to happen. I'm going to be keeping an eye on him to see if that does show any temperament problems, but I don't think it will. Hopefully not anyway, but that is something that happened. And at the show, I also made a stop at the Ratty's Angel stall to buy some cute little things. So, as you know, my Rattery logo, I'll put it on the screen if I can remember to, is a sunflower. And I spotted this sunflower snuffle mat at the Ratty's Angel stall. And I just saw it and I was like, that is perfect. Not only is it a really fun enrichment toy, but I could just see myself with this, with my little babies on there, like for baby photos. And so yeah, I just couldn't say no. I apologize to the microphone. I just couldn't say no. And then I was talking about sunflowers and sunflowers being on my logo, and Sam, who runs the stall, was like, I do have this sunflower cube, and I was like, I will take that off you as well, and I'm planning to use this
in my baby cage. But yeah, I got these from the show as well, which was really fun. And updates on the pairings. So I don't quite remember what I said in the short little clips that I got last night, but let's go Dandelion and Beatty first. Dandelion was in the show tank, because I was just going to see how they were interacting with each other before putting them in a slightly larger cage. There was like no interaction really between them at all. There was a bit of sniffing, but nothing. When I put them in the slightly larger cage, Dandelion was a little bit, I want to say, overwhelmed. She didn't know quite what to do, and she was a bit feisty with him, but you could tell, I could tell anyway, that she did want to be in that situation. She wanted to mate with him, but she wasn't quite sure what was going on. She was a little bit feisty, but when they got going, when they got into the positioning, she actually was absolutely fine with what was going on. And then Lyra, she was quite a squeaky girl during the whole interaction. In the show tank, she was a bit squeaky. When I moved her up to in a slightly larger cage, she did all the behaviour. She was running around, getting his attention, and they mated absolutely fine. However, this morning, I did notice that she had a little bit of blood on her vagina, and I've spoken to some other breeders and read up on the NFS forum, and it seems to be that it's likely either or and or. That didn't make any sense. It was likely to be either a mating injury and or a large sperm plug causing irritation even. I'm not so worried about it. I'm obviously going to keep an eye on her. It wasn't a lot of blood, and it is something that does happen. The two breeders who I spoke to did say that that was something that they have seen, and I was looking at past threads on the NFS forum that spoke about this as well. So I don't think it's something to worry about, but it is something that I wanted to mention that happened for me, because I'm, as I said, very open and transparent, and I hope that by me sharing what I go through with my rats, other people can gain knowledge and can gain information to help them decide what they're going to do with their own rats. And I never share my things as this is the only right way to keep rats or the only right way to act in a situation. But I do hope that me being open helps people to gather information so that they can do what feels best for them, if that makes sense. I feel like I've been saying that as a disclaimer quite a lot, but I really don't want people to think that by sharing what I do, I'm saying everybody has to be like this. I don't think that's true. But I do think being transparent is helpful for people trying to learn information about rats and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling because this is probably as long, if not like twice the length of the rest of the vlog. I'm going to go edit this, play a little bit of a rat video game. I might show you a little clip of it, but yeah. Thanks so much for watching. You can stick around and subscribe to follow my breeding journey. Hopefully in a couple of weeks there will be beans around this place soon. So fingers crossed. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.